In June 2020, a German company worth $28 billion collapsed in a matter of days. The reason? $2 billion the company swore was sitting in a bank account simply didn't exist. Its chief operating officer vanished. He's never been found. This is the story of Wirecard, the fintech giant that fooled regulators, auditors, and investors across an entire continent. Wirecard started in 1999 as a small German payment processor, the kind of unglamorous company that handles the technology behind credit card transactions for other businesses. By the 2000s, it had transformed into something much bigger, a symbol of Germany's tech ambitions. While the rest of German finance looked like century-old banks in stone buildings, Wirecard looked like the future. Sleek offices, a rocketing stock price, deals across Asia and the Middle East. In 2018, Wirecard achieved something almost unthinkable. It replaced Commerzbank, a bank founded in 1870 in Germany's prestigious DAX 30 stock index. A 20-year-old payments company had leapfrogged over a century of German banking history. Its CEO, Markus Braun, cultivated an image straight out of Silicon Valley. Black turtlenecks, talk of artificial intelligence, big visions of the future of digital payments. Investors loved it. At its peak, Wirecard was worth more than Deutsche Bank. There was just one problem. A huge portion of the profits it reported weren't real. Wirecard's fraud worked differently from a classic Ponzi scheme. Instead of paying old investors with new investors' money, Wirecard allegedly invented business that never happened. At the center of the scheme were so-called third-party acquiring partners, outside companies in places like the Philippines and Dubai that Wirecard claimed handled a huge slice of its payment processing business, and that supposedly held billions of euros in trustee accounts on Wirecard's behalf. On paper, this made Wirecard look enormous. Profitable operations spanning the globe, all properly audited and verified. In reality, investigators later found evidence that much of this business was wildly overstated or simply invented outright. For years, journalists at the Financial Times published investigations questioning Wirecard's accounting, pointing to inconsistencies in its Asian operations. Wirecard's response wasn't to open its books, it was to fight back. The company hired investigators to dig into the reporters. German regulators, rather than scrutinizing Wirecard, opened investigations into short sellers and journalists for allegedly manipulating the stock. For a company built partly on fiction, the best defense was making anyone who questioned it look like the villain. The lie finally became impossible to sustain in June 2020, when Wirecard's own auditor, EY, refused to sign off on the company's accounts. The reason? 2.1 billion euros supposedly held in trustee accounts in the Philippines couldn't be verified. It didn't appear to exist. Wirecard's response at first was denial, insisting the money was real, perhaps just delayed in transfer. Philippine banking regulators quickly stated the documents suggesting the money had ever been there in the first place appeared to be fake. Within days, the story fell apart entirely. Wirecard admitted publicly that the missing billions may not exist. Its stock, which had made it one of the most valuable financial firms in Germany, lost over 90% of its value in a matter of days. CEO Markus Braun resigned and was arrested shortly after, later facing trial on charges including fraud and market manipulation. But the man authorities really wanted to talk to was Wirecard's chief operating officer, Jan Marsalek, the executive who had overseen the international operations at the heart of the missing money. Marsalek disappeared before he could be arrested. He was last reliably tracked flying to the Philippines, before officials there stated he had actually never entered the country at all. His exit had apparently been faked using someone else's identity. From there, Jan Marsalek simply vanished. European investigators later suggested he may have fled toward Russia or Belarus, possibly with help from intelligence contacts he had allegedly cultivated for years. As of today, he remains one of the most wanted fugitives in Europe, and he has never been found. The collapse of Wirecard wiped out roughly $20 billion in shareholder value and became one of the largest accounting frauds in European history. It also raised uncomfortable questions about Germany's financial regulators, who had spent years defending Wirecard and investigating its critics instead of the company itself. The scandal led to resignations, government hearings, and a full overhaul of how Germany regulates its financial markets. Marcus Braun's trial, one of the largest corporate fraud cases in German history, has stretched on for years, with prosecutors alleging the fraud ran far deeper and longer than anyone initially believed. And somewhere, presumably still alive, is a man who may hold many of the real answers, and who has spent years successfully staying exactly one step ahead of everyone looking for him. Wirecard's story isn't just about fake numbers on a balance sheet. It's about what happens when a country's national pride gets tied to a company's stock price, and how hard it becomes to ask hard questions about a company everyone desperately wants to believe in. For years, journalists raised the alarm and were dismissed, sued, and investigated for daring to question the story. The people who were right were treated like the threat. If there's a lesson in 2 billion euros that never existed, it's this: the loudest defenders of a company's numbers are rarely the ones who should be trusted to check them. If you want the next hidden story of money uncovered, hit subscribe, because Wirecard is far from the only fortune built on a story too good to question.